Okay, so this is my solo review of Maleficent. If you didn't catch the other vlog there, pretty much Rob is head deep in submissions. We got an insane amount, so he wasn't able to show up for this one or the X-Men one. But he pretty much had no interest in seeing Maleficent anyway. So I went and checked it out, and the short version is it's not very good, but I think anyone that went into seeing this movie, I saw the preview, said, hey, I want to see that looks good. You'll be fine. You know, it makes no sense. I mean, it's based on a story that already makes little sense, but it's a fairy tale from years and years ago, and Disney adapted it, in many respects, had it make even less sense. But whatever, it was still artistically pleasing and had a lot of cool characters. Now you have this one, which is based on the Disney version. It's, whatever, an update or quote-unquote more adult version, and it just makes even less sense. I mean, there are so many things that don't add up in this. You have Maleficent was a fairy, had wings, and design really cool. Comes across this boy, this human boy. The two kingdoms are split between fairies and people. The people are just dicks for no reason, or at least they're led by a dick king. The boy falls in love with Maleficent, but just goes back to the kingdom, becomes a dick. And the king says, whoever can kill Maleficent will get the kinghood, because I'm dying. So he goes, he can't kill Maleficent, but he takes her wings while he knocks her out. Says, I killed her. The king gives him the kingdom, and Maleficent is pissed, so she now rules her kingdom and makes it all dark and grim. Hears about the birth of his child. You know the drill. Puts a curse on her. And what? The king, like in the story, hands the baby to the three fairies. Maleficent finds her right away. I mean, it's not even like a pause. Like, they go to the cottage, and you just see Maleficent walk up to the window, and I think I turned to my wife, and I just said, well, that was fast. I mean, the movie, it's like the last third. She finds her, or 16 years later, so that made me laugh. And the fairies are really stupid in this, and I kind of don't like that because they were very entertaining characters and they were very thoughtful characters in the original, and they're just dumbbells, and I mean, they're really too dumb. They're way too dumb. And they're half the time when they're fairies, they're CG, and it's not needed. The CG in this movie looks really... It doesn't look bad, it looks fake. It looks really unbelievably fake. But I'll get to that. It's like, artistically, it still kind of looks nice. So that kind of, but they look really fake. And Maleficent, because the fairies are so dumb, I mean, that really is the reason, is practically raising the baby. Which, I don't get it. I don't get why she's watching it. She's pretty much trolling them, like she'll just make it rain inside. The fairies never question it. They're pretty much the Three Stooges. They'll just like pull each other's hair and go, oh, it's really demeaning. If you like the fairies at all from the original Disney film, you're gonna be really pissed off. So Maleficent practically raises this baby. I mean, like, stuff like she's walking off a cliff and the fairies don't see it, so Maleficent catches her. And I mean, they're doing the Wicked route. I think most people going in know that, where she's not going to be all bad. In fact, she's not even going to really be that bad. And years pass, and she grows up. She grows up into Aurora. Played by, I guess, a Fanning sister who, I'll give real credit for, is not that bad, because this is not a well-written character. This is just a happy-go, like, oh, everything is enchanted here, birds fly on my hands and tweet. I mean, she's written like that, but she plays it well. She is actually a very happy, very, interesting to watch actress, honestly, and I like too that even if she's very good looking, but she's not like a damn, anything like that. I mean, she's an above average person, looking person, but it's like her personality, just shines through and makes her this really sort of interesting, beautiful character in a strange way. So I give her a lot of credit to that actress. I think she did a very good job with nothing, and she really pulled this through. So I give her a lot of credit for that. So she grows up, thinks Maleficent is her fairy godmother, which is cute. I dig that. Of course, Maleficent forms a friendship with her. She tries to take the curse away, but she can't. And if I go any more past that, I mean, we'll be getting into spoilers. A lot of it follows the traditional story, except pretty obviously Maleficent is gonna be, still be the good person throughout the whole thing. And the king, this king is a really bad actor. I'm sorry, the guy that got to play the king, first off, and I hate talking like this, but his voice is ridiculous. It's a really bad voice, and I'll put on the writing too. He's not well written. He's set up to be a very interesting character, but it's all sort of sidelined and he's just kind of a dick now, and he's just kind of crazy now, and he's got this really, really thick Scottish accent, this really, really high-pitched voice, and if you have I don't know, something about the combination of all the things that went into this guy did not work, and there's a lot of eccentric performances out there that can still, even out. Bryan Cranston in Godzilla is very eccentric and very over the top, but it evens out. I mean, it works it out very well. This does not, and I was just laughing every time he's on screen. And I'm really sorry. I feel bad for saying that, but he's laughably bad. But again, he's not written very well either, so there is kind of that. And yeah, so it pretty much makes no sense whatsoever. My thought is that anyone who wants to see this movie, though, sees Maleficent. Oh, maybe Maleficent's a good person. Maybe there's sort of this more to the story that I never thought of whenever, and I just want to see a fairy tale. I want to see a pretty landscape and magic and romance and kissing. It's fine if you're just looking for that and you're pretty lenient. Because there is a part of me it's not getting good reviews. I mean, not getting destroyed, but it's not getting very good reviews, and I see why. But a part of me is like, it's not that bad. I mean, again, if you want to look at it from logic-wise, and the effects look totally fake, but it's a freaking fairy tale, and I think the people who want to see this, who would want to see this movie, probably get what they're looking for fine. I think they would really dislike the three fairies. I think that's the one thing they'd probably be pissed off at. But I think everything else is totally serviceable. It's a very nice-looking movie. The designs are very nice for the most part. You get one or two characters, like the big eyes are like, the and you kind of roll your eyes and say, okay. But like the design of Maleficent is great. Angelina Jolie looks great as Maleficent. I think this whole movie was made just to get cool shots of Maleficent, because there's like a dozen. There's a dozen that I'm like, well, that one should go in the trailer, that should go in the trailer, there's a ton. She looks the part. I'll get to her performance in a second. Let me just wrap up about the rest of the movie here. So I think it's something where there are people that just want to go see a movie and they just want to see a fairy tale. They just want to see something, really magical, or has magic, I should say, and romantic elements. And this has that. And fairy tales are not usually that embedded much in logic anyway. So it's passable in that sense. If you're looking for something more meaty and is really going to make the story more interesting and be really psychologically interesting and bring us something new, you're not going to really get that. You can sort of pick and choose what elements they're stealing from. And the look, I don't know this artist's name, sadly, but you've seen his books. This is the guy who... his artwork is mainly just fairies. He'll do good-looking fairies and bad fairies and ugly fairies and pretty fairies. And I want to say it was maybe even used in The Dark Crystal. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that. I mean, don't quote me on this stuff. But it has that feel to it. Maybe the guy's the designer. I don't know. And I'm so sorry I don't know the name. But I'm sure people are going to tell me in the comments. But it has that look to it, and it's nice, and it's a little different from sort of traditional Disney stuff. But it's also mixed in with, like I said, you got the big, dopey-eyed, toad people or whatever, and the really, cutesy wootsy fairies, the three fairies and stuff. So, I mean, there's all the Disneyisms in there, too. So I think you can kind of get a feel whether or not this is what you're looking for. If you are very lenient and you just want a fairy tale, it's fine. There's nothing insultingly bad about aside, I think, from the three fairies. And like I said, once in a while the king, can really, you sort of rub into your eye like, oh man, is this guy. But, they're trying to give him a story of like this psychological, tear down. It's just not done that great. Angelina Jolie, it's funny because for years I've heard people say, at least critics, say, oh, she's awful. She is just so bad and so terrible. And I didn't get it. I didn't really get what they were talking about. Because I would see her in a movie, I'd just be like, fine. I mean, nothing really stands out, but, maybe it's okay. And I realized that was the thing. I was trying to think, what's an Angelina Jolie performance where I said, that was really good. Like, that really stuck out. And she was like, oh my God, I was so invested in what was going on with her because it was just so unbelievable. I can't think of one. She is a totally serviceable actress, and that's really about it. I don't know if that counts as terrible, because it's like, we've seen terrible, okay? We've seen really bad acting. I mean, my job, and I think a lot of other critics too, I mean, you see a lot of bad actresses, not like, oh, I don't know if I totally believe the person or got sucked in. No, I mean, like, how did you get out of high school with that acting? How did you do a school play with that acting? So I don't think she's that, but I do see what people are talking about with that whole thing. I think she definitely has the look, and that's not just the makeup, or the CG or anything. I mean, like, a good maybe half of her delivery and just her sort of glares and stuff like that. And I know the effects they do. I know makeup. I know CG, Photoshop and stuff. It's not just that. I think she actually does get off some legitimately good stares. She has one or two well-read cold lines. I like when she brings this bird, turns this bird into a boy pretty much to do her bidding. And there's something really cool about it. Just, she talked very quick, very fast. What did they call you? And stuff. I mean, it was like very affirmative, very, very cool. And it's like, okay, like some of this she's doing very well. None of it's like horrible. So when she screams, it's like, okay, I'm not buying that at all. I renounce the curse. It's like, no, I'm not buying it. But it's not horrible. It's not terrible. But if you like her in other films, you'll like her fine in this. If you're not a fan of her, this isn't going to sway you. But I don't know. I'm glad I saw it because there was enough cool things in how it visually looked that I did enjoy that. And like I said, it's not that the CG looks real. It looks unbelievably fake, but it's very stylized and very nice looking, and it was just creative enough for me. So I'm glad I saw it, even though I know it's technically not a good movie. And like I said, if you're just looking for a bit of romance, kind of a touching story with some magic and you're just really lenient, you're not looking for plot threads or good, you're not gonna nitpick performances and stuff. I mean, that's what I do. It's a living, I mean, it is my living. It is just always how I've seen films. But when you get to the good ones, it's even greater. But yeah, if you're just very laid back, want to see a fairy tale and aren't too picky, it's fine, I don't think anything in there is going to especially piss you off. But if you're looking for something much deeper and interesting, bring something new, you're probably not going to get it here. So that's my guess. So guys, that's about it. Yeah, those are my thoughts on the movies, and hopefully I'll be back with even more movies to talk about. Take care.